Assalamu alaikum, and hey you guys, welcome to the Creative Journaling During Ramadan class. I'm Amina, and I am so thankful that you guys have decided to let me help you start your creative journal, especially during Ramadan. This is such a great opportunity. It's a blessing because Ramadan is the best time for trying to rack up on those good deeds, whether they're obligatory or optional. It is a race, a competition to get those good deeds in. Some of the Salaf used to say, indeed, Allah, the Most High, has made the month of Ramadan as a competition for His creatures, in which they may race with one another to His pleasure by obeying Him. Thus, one group comes first, so they prosper, and another group comes last, so they fail. So we are going to make this journaling journey specifically about Ramadan and try our hardest to get good deeds from doing this journal. So I am so excited. I'm ready to start. We are going to go through this journey together. I'm going to make it super simple, inshallah. And Ramadan Mubarak. I'm so sorry I didn't even get to say that. May Allah bless your Ramadan, make it successful, beneficial, joyful, safe, and blessed. Ameen. Let's get started. So before we get started with the class, let me introduce myself. My name is Amina, and I am a mom, a wife, homeschooling parent, digital artist, and makeup cue stickers at MP Studio. Mashallah. I've been blogging at Marion Poppins for almost 6 years, if not longer. I've been at the studio for almost 2 years this year, inshallah. And I started teaching creative beginners classes 1 year ago, this July, or this June, when I first started with Quran Journaling, a beginner's creative class, which is my first class and my first experience with making art and doing things that was deemed inspired and being creative at the same time. Mashallah. My goal is that you learn to be creative with a purpose. I want people to know that faith and creativity can come together in a beautiful way. As you go through these slides, I hope you feel motivated, encouraged, and inspired to creatively journal during Ramadan and beyond. And I am looking forward to seeing your layouts and, if necessary, helping you beyond this class. So let's get started. So let's get into intentions. This is very important. Since this creative class is focused on Ramadan, I want you to be mindful of the following. You need to make your intentions to please Allah. Now, if you haven't made your intentions yet, and you're just like, I'm going to take this class, but I don't know what I'm going to gain. I don't know what I want to do. I don't even know why I'm even starting creative journaling. Then you got to pause this slide and take a break. Write down your intentions, make your intentions, and then get yourself centered on that, because this creative journey can be something that takes you on various paths. You might be tempted by all the pretty layouts on Instagram and Pinterest and start to question your work. And next thing you know, you don't want to journal anymore because you don't think your layouts are pretty. And that's not the purpose of journaling. It's a benefit, it's a bonus, but it's not the purpose. So you have to make your intentions. The Prophet Muhammad, Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, said, actions are but by intentions, and everyone will have what he intended. So whoever migrated to Allah and his messenger, he migrated to Allah and his messenger. But whoever migrated for some worldly benefit or to take a woman in marriage, then his migration was only to what he migrated to. So make your intentions is super important. I can't stress it enough. I've been as I started my creative journey and sharing my layouts, I personally have questioned my own layouts, and I have to go back and I have to readjust, realign, refocus, rethink, and come back to the main goal, the main purpose of why I even started this journaling process in the first place. And so having a beautiful journal is not the main thing. You have to remember that and keep the goal in mind. So again, if you haven't made your intentions, pause before you go further into this class and think about what this means to you and why you're doing it. Creative journaling during Ramadan is a creative way to record and document your religious journey. I know for me that I can go back and read the tafsir, especially in my Quran journal. I go back and read ayats and read tafsir, and it's a great way to reflect on the notes, to memorize and learn ayats. And I felt like that during my Quran journaling journey. So I know for sure that you can start recalling things that you've read from the tafsir, from a hadith, when you start documenting what you learn. It's a creative way to journal, illustrate, and keep a record of what you're learning. It's a unique way to increase in iman, and ibadah. So I want to make a point here about the increase of iman and the and the ibadah. So I made a point about the that when you go back and you read, it helps you with your memorization. You start to remember the tafsir and the ayat, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I remember this tafsir because it was in relation to such and such and such a thing. So you do get that increase of ilm. And then when it comes to the iman, there are times where my iman is low. We all have the increase and decrease of iman. I can go back to my Quran journal by the permission of Allah, and I feel better. I feel inspired. I feel motivated to open up my Quran, to read Allah's words, and to reflect upon them. And that is the main thing. I can't even stress the importance, because reading the ayats and reading the hadith and reading the tafsir by the permission of Allah has a way of softening your heart. And when it comes to increase of ibadah, it makes you want to worship Allah more or better. So it's hard to do something wrong and you just finish Quran journaling or iman-based scrapbooking or doing your creative journaling exercises that are deen inspired. It's so hard to do wrong when you have the reminder. It only makes you want to do good, to please Allah, and to be thankful to Allah for all of the blessings, and just having the opportunity to sit down and to study and to reflect on his deen. It's a very powerful thing, and it's a heart softener. And so journaling just helps you with that. And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself advised with writing knowledge down, and so said in his final illness, bring me a writing book. I will write for you a book. I will write for you a book. You will not go astray after it. And so taking notes and having a book for whether you are journaling or your lectures is important, is recommended, and it helps a lot. Seeking nearness to Allah is one of the things that we should strive to do during the month of Ramadan. So according to the scholars, drawing closer to Allah, the most perfect, in this blessed month can be achieved by fulfilling one's obligatory duties, reciting the Quran and reflecting upon its meaning. And I want to add that I always recommend anybody who's Quran journaling to have a reflection section. It helps you when it comes to implementing that, reflecting upon its meaning, reading the tafsir and then reflecting upon it. I can't tell you or describe how much that has been such a beneficial thing, a part of my Quran journaling journey. And when you get into creative journaling, you can take that and add that. So if whether you're journaling your notes or you're journaling from a book that you read, you should have a reflection section. The scholars say increasing in kindness and giving in charity and making dua to Allah and attending gatherings of knowledge and striving in those actions that will cause the heart to draw closer to his Lord and to gain his forgiveness are some of the ways that you can seek nearness to Allah. Now, I believe that creative journaling can be a tool or an avenue that helps you to seek nearness to Allah, because you're going to write down Allah's words and it's going to be deen inspired, and it's going to help you with your iman, and it's going to help you keep you in remembrance of Allah, because the whole process is all about having a connection with Allah and having a connection with the deen. And so this is why I think creative journaling during Ramadan and beyond is a great tool or a habit to pick up on and to start doing. And it will help you with your iman, and Allah knows best. So right now I gave you guys a couple of reasons that should motivate you, by the permission of Allah, to start your creative journal. And if you are unsure, go back and read the reasons and see and give it a try and see if creative journaling during Ramadan is right for you. I want to stress point number 4 on this slide. It says when you feel low on Iman, you can go back to your journal and get a boost. I can tell you guys from my own personal journey, especially when I started Quran journaling, I don't feel personally that I'm a good person. And I do feel like my Iman is pretty low, and I've often have made it known that I'm working on softening my heart. Now, a couple of you guys will probably all look and say, well, no, like that's not true. Like Amina's heart, no. Allah knows best everybody's condition. And some of you guys can relate to having these feelings. I can tell you one remedy is me going back to my Quran journal and opening it, any page, and I see the ayat, and I see the tafsir, and I see the reflection, and it softens my heart. It reminds me that I'm striving, because everybody feels like they're not striving. At some point you feel stagnant and you're like, I haven't done anything when it comes to the deen. I haven't studied, or I'm just not worthy or of anything. When I go back and I look at the ayat in my Quran journal and I read it and I read my reflection, it softens my heart. It motivates me. It makes me want to go back and open up the Quran and continue on reading Allah's words, and even going deeper into just adding more studies to my journaling, whether I want to just study hadith or read different books from the students of knowledge and the scholars, it makes me want to learn more. It makes me want to be better. And this is all truly by the permission of Allah. And this is one of the best benefits to me. And also getting, seeking nearness to Allah, having a connection with the words, with His words in this deen. So if you are unsure why you should start, go back to the past slides and listen to them, and then read this slide and make your intentions and give it a try. And inshallah, see how you feel after Ramadan. It may be something that you will go and do beyond Ramadan. So, drawing closer to Allah, I made these points earlier, but I decided to go ahead and type it up so that you guys can read them and go over them and keep a record of them in your journal, inshallah. And as we proceed forward, if you forget, you can always come back to the slide and go and read these reminders so they can help you on your journey, inshallah. Things to remember. Okay, you guys, we are about to get into the journaling part, and I really want to stress that this is your personal journey. This is a way of connecting to or with Allah's words, and your journal doesn't have to meet any type of creative standards set by society. Your journal doesn't have to look like mine. My journal doesn't have to look like yours. Your journal doesn't have to look like what's on Pinterest or Instagram, because that is not the main goal. And I can't even stress that enough. I've gotten inboxes before where people tell me, well, my journal isn't pretty as yours, or I'm not creative enough. And these are not conditions for having a journal. Now, the creativity I've taught in the Quran journaling beginners creative class that if you don't draw, fine. If you don't know Arabic, it's okay. That you can be creative outside of these things. And I'm going to show you guys in a video of a journal that has the Arabic and a journal that has English, and how you can have a creative layout and you don't have to be an artist, and anybody can achieve these layouts, inshallah. So this is your own personal journey, and you don't even have to share it with the world. It's totally between you and the one who created you and everything that exists. So make dua before starting. It's important to set your intentions prior to start. You can begin with journaling ayats based on topics, your Juma notes, lecture notes, anything that you want to keep a record of. So let's get started. I am just happy and inspired my own self to do this with you guys, because it helps me, and I hope that it's helping you. So let's get into materials. What do you need to start? Now, since this is about Ramadan, a book about Ramadan or Islam in general that you want to study from, if you do not have a book, I recommend going to abdulrahman.org to their Ramadan section and download their PDFs. You need a journal, sketchbook or a planner, tools for writing, coloring and painting. Stamps are optional, and embellishments. Now, embellishments to me are washi tape, stickers, scrapbooking paper, journaling cards, etc. So these things, embellishments, help with adding that creative flair So when you're feeling like, oh, I'm not creative, I think you'll start to see as you journal that adding embellishments really gets you to feel like you're creative and you don't have to draw. Drawing is something that it's totally up to you, but you can achieve a very creative layout with just some washi tape and some stickers, scrapbooking paper, puffy stickers, stamps. So these are the materials I would recommend for starting off with. Now, with the journal and the sketchbook planner, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the difference, and because not every book was created equally. So let's get into basic tools just in case you need a true breakdown of what I recommend. These are my must-haves. Watercolors, because I like the watercolor background and you can write over top of it and it makes your layout stand out. Color pencils and highlighters. Now, highlighters, everybody who's gone to school, who's taken classes, who study, use highlighters often. So that's something I think that you should carry over to your journaling. It helps things stand out, and yeah, highlighters are awesome. And do I recommend a particular brand? Actually, I don't. What brand do I use? They're called Mileliners, and they are my favorite. And if you cannot get Mileliners, then I recommend the Crayola Super Tips, which are you can get 50 colors for maybe $8 at Walmart. And I like them. They're actually comparable to the Mileliners. Mileliners are actually very popular in the planning community. So you don't have to get that. You can get the Crayola Super Tips, or you can get any type of highlighter. Doesn't matter. The Tombow brush pen, I'm going to just tell you guys I recommend it. It's something that I, in each of my beginners creative classes, have told people that they should use. The Tombow brush pen, and it's not based on the brand or the name or because it's already popular in the planner community, but it's quality. It's quality, and it's worth investing in. They come in a soft tip and a hard tip, and I've had them for a couple of months. It's taken me a long time to change or buy a new Tombow brush pen. A gel pen. Now, I say gel pen, but you can use a ballpoint pen. I like gel pens. I think they write smooth. And I use a gel pen for writing my notes, the English of the IAT. So that is why I use a gel pen. You might be perfectly fine with a ballpoint pen. A white uniball signal. I recommend this because it helps with correction. Sometimes I might put a marking on an Arabic letter by accident and I need to correct it. So I use my white uniball signal gel pen for that. And sometimes when I'm decorating, I like to add a little bit of creative flair to something. So I like to use my white gel pen and a water brush. So this is if you're into watercolor. It's called the aqua brush, and you open it up and you can put water inside and close it back up, and I think it's really convenient, and you can use that for when you decide to paint. I like it. It's convenient. So these are the basic tools, but remember, keep it simple. Wait until you get into the groove of things to see how you feel and what you like. You might expand on this list. I know I did when I started my journaling. I expanded before I even got into the groove of journaling. And you'll come on your path and your journey. You'll come to find out what works for you and what doesn't work. But these are basic tools to get you started, because I know it can be overwhelming to see so many products and not even know if you should buy it or not, and then you end up buying something and you're not even interested in that type of method. So these are the basic tools that I would recommend, and inshallah you will get a feel for things. Just take your time, keep it simple, and be patient. So as you guys can see with this layout, it's pretty, but it's simple. The focus is on the ayat in Arabic, in English, and I'll talk more about focal points later on in the next couple of slides. But I only use two things that I have recommended as materials that you should get. I use washi tape, two types of washi tape, and stickers. That is it. That's all I use for this journal. And I think it came out very nice, mashallah. Besides the hand lettering and the Arabic, which are two things you don't have to do if you don't know how to do it. It's recommended to do the Arabic, to learn the Arabic. But if you don't know how, don't let that stop you from journaling and doing the ayats or doing different type of books from the scholars. But if you don't know Arabic, both of your pages can be done in English, and you can add the washi tape and you can add the stickers, and it's still a very nice, creative, and minimalistic layout. And remember, even though I stress so much that the creative part does not have to be like Instagram or Pinterest, I do understand the desire for having a layout that is pleasing to your eyes, which is important, not the world's eyes, because it's not meant to have a pretty layout for Instagram or your Pinterest. It's for you personally. So I like to teach simple and easygoing creative layouts that anyone can do, whether you have an art background or you don't. So this layout is one of those. It's just stickers and washi tape, and it's color coordinated, which I also talk about in the next slide. I talk about the focal point and coordinating. So we are going to get into that. So don't be stressed out, my friends. And again, it's not about the perfect layout, but if you care, this is just two types of things: the stickers and the washi tape. And sometimes washi tape comes already coordinated for you. So if you say, well, Amina, I am not coordinated, I don't know how to match the washi tape from the decorative to the solid, they already do that for you. They already put washi tape with its mate, and so you don't have, like, the thinking part of it is really done for you. You just purchase the colors you like, and they already put it together, and you could just use them how you want to use them. So again, this is a simple layout using two of the things that I recommend already, which is washi tape and stickers. All about the journals, because I get asked frequently, what journal am I using? I'm using Astrology A5 size. I love it. I recommend it highly. It's graph paper, and then graphs, the lines are so light that you barely see them when you're journaling. That's probably one con, but it's also a pro because I don't like seeing a lot of lines on my paper. It distracts me. So I want to tell you guys that not every journal is created equally. A Dollar Tree journal might not hold up like a Winsor Newton journal, because it depends on what you're using, on what makes that journal good for you. So if you're using watercolor or Tombow, then you might not get a thin type of paper unless it's like Distology, which is a thin type of paper that's somehow it holds all the paint and the Tombow and the stamping. You wouldn't use all of these things in a dollar store journal because sometimes these things bleed through. So not every journal was created equally. Some planners, some journals, they all come in different styles, and they all have different types of paper. And paper, once you get into the planning community, is pretty much a big deal. Everybody wants to know what's the size or what's the weight of the paper, and we become paper scholars, and we know what papers are going to hold up to fountain pens, paint, stamps, and I like to tell you guys it depends on what you want to do. If you're like, I want to paint all day long, then I'm going to recommend that you get a hardbound sketchbook. And if you're like, I am not going to do any of these things, I'm just going to journal, then any book is good for you. You can use a regular planner, a regular journal. Doesn't matter where you get it from. If you're like, I'm going to use my ballpoint pen and some washi tape and some stickers, then you can just go to your Walmart, or you can go to Target, or you can go to the Dollar Tree, and you can get a composition book. And that's fine because you're not using items that are going to bleed through the paper. And you can use inserts. Some people use inserts in a traveler's notebook for their journal and things like that. So it depends on what you're going to do as to what journal you'll buy. And you'll learn more about that as you go through your journey. So one day you might try to paint, and then you might find out, well, that's not for you. Next thing you know, you might try hand lettering, and you're buying these fountain pens and various type of Tombows. Then you know that, and you find out that you like it. Then you're going to invest in a journal that paper holds that, and it won't bleed through. So the journal that I got, which is in this picture, it bleeds through when it comes to stamping, but it's great when it comes to painting. So, I mean, it bleed through with the stamping probably because I'm heavy-handed, and that's something that you have to keep in mind too. Sometimes I'm a little rough, and so it might bleed through. But my journal, I would recommend to anyone that I use. I got it off of Amazon. It's Histology, size A5. I don't get any other size, and I've been using it since last year of January, and I really recommend them. Other than that, it's a lot of trial and error. So enjoy the process. That is something I tell people all the time. Enjoy the process. It's not meant to be stressful. This is fun. Like going into Walmart and looking at different types of journals and touching them and using them and buying different planners, and it's all fun. It's a joyful process. So make sure that you are enjoying the process and you're not getting stressed out. And just remember that what works today might not work tomorrow for you. You may not want to paint anymore. So enjoy every moment. In this slide, I have a couple of items that I mentioned before. Stamps and inks, pens, markers, highlighters, and stickers. These are truly, to me, basics, and stamps are optional. I usually throw in stamps just in case someone likes the drawing aspect of journaling or being creative, because stamps make you feel like you've actually drawn something, and you can stamp a flower, and you can stamp a bee, or you can stamp a lot of things. And so it kind of, to me, takes the place of drawing. Just in case a person is looking for that, that's why I usually recommend them. But I also like to add that it's optional. And the pens, markers, and highlighters are something that are necessary. And stickers. You can get stickers, of course, from my shop. If you guys don't know, go to www.marianpoppins.com. Go to the tab that says products, and you can buy Dean inspired stickers, or you can go to Amazon, Target, Walmart, places like that to buy your stickers. And no, I don't recommend any particular type of stickers, because stickers are something that, again, is really up to you and what you like as a person and what you want to add to your journal. And you can get that from any crafty store in your area, your country, wherever you're from. So that is the basics. And we are about to get into the best time to journal, because it's Ramadan, and you're probably wondering, I don't even know if I have time for all of this. So let's get started into that. The best time to journal, nighttime. After the prayers, the slave of Allah should come home and work on their personal connection with Allah. So after you've done your cooking all day, and you've done your classes, and you've gone perhaps to the masjid at night, you can write down things that you've learned in your journal. That's a good time. The kids are in bed. You have this time for yourself. When you journal, you can reflect on the many blessings that Allah has bestowed upon you. You can reflect upon the fact that Allah has made you Muslim when you could have been anything else. You can reflect on your class notes. You can reflect on the ayats that you read for that day, for the juz that you read. There's so many things that you can do in your journal at night. And if adding the creative part feels like it's too much during Ramadan, you can always just write your information down, and you can come back later and decorate the pages. You can decorate them after Ramadan or during Ramadan. It's not something that they have to go hand in hand. As soon as you've done one thing, you have to do the other. So I recommend at night. I also recommend at Fajr. I find that being a mom of 6 kiddos, that my day, if I started an hour earlier than Fajr, then I can get some quiet time in and reflective journaling time in. So nighttime, or maybe an hour before Fajr, would be a great time to get your journaling in. Let's get into technique. Now, I mentioned earlier some things that I want to go in depth on. So I was like coordination, because I was talking about the washi tape and how they color coordinate now for you. And companies are putting themes together, different kinds of colors together. So it saves you time and energy and trying to match everything up. So when you are journaling, you want to coordinate. Now, you think of having a theme and the scheme. Sometimes the theme can be what helps you with your layout. Sometimes people don't know where to start. I know when I started Quran journaling, I had no clue how to start. But I do know one thing about myself, is that I am a person who loves themes. At Marian Poppins, I told you guys I've been blogging there for 6 years. We had themes every day from Monday through Sunday. Fridays was Essential Pearls, where we only talked about Islam and Islamic topics. And then Mondays might have been called Homemaking Mondays. And then Tuesdays was called In the Kitchen with Marian Poppins. So everything had a theme. It helped me a lot So when I started Quran journaling in 2017, I had no theme. I had no method. So I fell off. It was very easy to just be like, okay, I don't know where I'm going with this. And then I just fell off. And then in 2018, I had a method by the permission of Allah. I decided to do themes. So January, I'm doing Ibadah. And in February, I'm doing Iman. And then, March, I'm doing about angels. And it helped me and it kept me consistent. So when you're doing your journal, coordinating it can help with a theme. Maybe you'll have for the month of January, maybe your theme will be the stars and the universe. And so your stickers and your washi tape might be constellations and stars, and you'll get scrapbooking paper based off of this, and this will help you out because they also have scrapbooking paper or decorative paper that come in themes. You have mermaid theme, you have a beach theme, you have a universal theme, and things like that. The scheme. What colors would you like to use? Will you have a theme to keep it consistent? Something that you can ask yourself. Some people like pink. I've been on an Instagram where there's a pink sticker company where everything has pink in it. So they might sell a pizza sticker that have pink on it, or they sell fries and the container is pink, and some might have a blow dryer that's pink. So do you have a color that you like? Are you earth tone person? Are you a pastel person? Do you like bright colors? And this is one way to decorate your layouts. And if you're like, I'm all over the place. One day I like pastel, one day I like neutral, one day I like bright colors. Then your supplies and your layouts are just inspired by your mood. Layouts. Have a focal point because it will be visually balanced. So most of the time when people look at my journal, they see Arabic first. And that's the focal point. And I like that because for me, that is the focal point. I like that the Arabic makes the page stand out. Your focal point, if it's not Arabic, could be something totally different. It might be your ayat on a card that pops out and is decorative around this journaling card or anything like that. And I'll show you guys a couple of that what I'm saying in the next couple of slides. Dimension, my favorite part. Overlapping with those crafty items using embellishments and stationery such as washi tape, stickers, and sticky notes. Embellishments and dimension. I like when the layout pops out at you, which they have something like these foam blocks that make things look like it's 3D. Is a great way to add dimension to your layouts. So having sticky notes, using washi tape, and other things to add a little bit more to your layout is nice to have. And these are 3 ways I like to break it down for those who are just journaling. Think about coordinating, theme and scheme. Think about the layout, a focal point. Think about dimension, adding embellishment. So to give you guys a visual representation, here are 3 layouts, all done differently, and each of them have something of the techniques that I had mentioned in the prior slide. So one layout is the focal point. Now, the Arabic, even though I took this picture specifically for Instagram, and the focus of the picture was the remember the destination with a little bit of Arabic showing, but that is not in reality the focal point. The focal point is the Arabic. And I didn't decorate it too much because I didn't want to take away from the Arabic. And so that is the focal point. But I did coordinate at the same time. I used a decorative paper that already had those colors in it. So it was really easy to piggyback off the colors because it was already done for me. And then on the adding dimension, there's really not a focal point there because there's so much going on. I just layered things and added stickers and added scrapbooking paper, and there's no central focus to me. It's just a lot of embellishments that I use. I use enamel dots, die cuts, and stickers. And then at the bottom is coordinated. It's paper that I got probably from Michael's that's already been coordinated for me. And I just piggyback off the colors and matched based off what I use for my decorative paper book. And I did my IED in English. And also there is not only is it coordinated, but it does have a focal point. If you look at the right hand side and the left hand side, the one side has the ayat and it's coordinated with the decorative paper, and then on the right hand side you have 3 black lines. Now the 3 black lines are actually stickers with words in it, and it's on top of the decorative paper, so it all goes really well. You have a focal point and it's coordinated. You could use all the techniques together, or you can use one. And I showed you guys where I just used one technique in the other slide where it was just the ayat, and I added 2 types of washi tape and a sticker. But that didn't catch your eye like that. The Arabic and the English caught your eye, and that was the focal point. So you can add all, or you could add some, but without these guidelines, I'd be all over the place like I was with Quran journaling. So this helps me with my journal when I'm sitting here stuck. I'm like, well, it helps me figure out, do I want to do a theme and coordinate everything around the ayat or my class notes, or do I just want to focus on just writing it down and then adding dimension, or do I want to make it my focal point and then color coordinate? So hopefully these techniques will help you when you start your journal and you're unsure of how you want it to go. You can decide on whether you want a focal point at dimensional coordinate, or just apply all the techniques together. As we come to a close, I'd like to thank you guys for giving me this opportunity to teach you how to do some creative journaling during Ramadan and beyond. And I pray to Allah that you have benefited much. And I would like to leave you guys with a couple of reminders. In houses which Allah has ordered to be raised, in them His name is remembered. Therein glorify Him in the mornings, in the afternoons, or in the evenings. Surah 24, ayat 36. And remember your Lord within yourself, humbly and with fear and without loudness in words, in the mornings, in the afternoons. And be not of those who are neglectful. Surah 7, ayat 205. And lastly, the goal is to always remember and focus and to please Allah. And I hope that Allah makes your Ramadan a very joyful, blessed, and beneficial one. Ameen. I pray to Allah that He increases you in Iman and Ibadah, and to give you the best in this life and the next. Ameen. Thank you again. May Allah bless you all in this life and the next, and give you and your family success. Ameen. Have a great Ramadan from my family to yours, and thank you for taking this class. Assalamu alaikum.